So the agenda of today is to talk about search, web search, and to talk about how web search and SEO effort can help you and can help websites better satisfy the user experience and better convert users. So just to start, we're talking about conversational AI. So conversational AI can be seen as a way to get information, or it can be also seen as an alternative to search. As I said, we're talking about search. So let's do a web search. We're searching the web for this keyword. It's GPT-3. You don't need to know anything about GPT-3. It can be any query. So now we're talking about search. We're using Google search. Using Google search, in today's experience, when we go to Google and when we search for a keyword, we get the result, and this is a classic search result page. We have those different elements that show over here on the screen. So let's now zoom and check each of these sections. So the first section that we see, it's the top section of the search result page. Generally we have ads, but we're not talking about ads. What we are interested in are the organic search results. So in this case, for the query GPT-3, we get 10 results, and the top one is the OpenAI API link. We have also another section on the SERP, which is the people also ask. So we have a set of questions. When we click on them, we see the answer. Google automatically provides those question answers, those pairs of question answers on the SERP. If we also look at another section of the search result page, sometimes some queries trigger videos on the first page. So we have also those videos on the first page. And the last part that I want to show is the Google Knowledge Panel. So at the right side of the search results, sometimes we get we get the name of the entity, the name of the person, or the name of the location with a summary that can come from Wikipedia and other or from other sources. So this is what we mean when we talk about the Google Knowledge Panel. Now, this is what we have right now in 2022 on the search. If you want to imagine and start looking at the future of the search, what means the future of the search? It's one of many versions. So in this version, we see search as a conversation between a user and a machine. So it's like a question answering system, where the machine where the machine provide answers much as like a human expert will do. So this is what we're going to see in this presentation. How the search that we know today can be seen also as a conversation between a user, a human, and a machine. So for the same query, GPT-3, now we can imagine this conversation between the user and Google. So the user is asking Google, could you tell me more about GPT-3? And Google will provide the first organic result that we saw, which was OpenAI API result. So this is a discussion. So the discussion can continue, and the user would say, okay, I'd like to see some videos because I prefer to watch videos instead of reading blogs or pages. And in this case, Google will return the first video that appeared on the first result page. So this is another section of the search that is transformed, that can be shipped as a conversation. The conversation can continue, and the user is asked just a quick question like about when was GPT released. This information comes from the Google Knowledge Graph, which is over here highlighted in red, which is small, but we can see it live on Google, on a Google search. And Google will get this answer from its knowledge graph and says, okay, GPT-3 was released on June 11, 2020. This is the last part of this futuristic discussion, and the user asks Google or asks the bot, could you tell me more about GPT-3? And the bot will say, yeah, I know some information about GPT-3. This is a set of question answers that you can check in order to get more information about GPT-3. Okay, sorry. Here is another question that could be also about similar transformer-based tools like GPT-3, and Google has also this information in its knowledge graph. So other transformer-based tools similar to GPT-3 are DALL-E2, GPT-2, BERT, GitHub Copilot. Okay, so now we saw this. It's not yet it's not yet the common way of doing search on Google or on any other search engine. So let's have one step back to the present, and let's talk about SEO. We know that SEO and search are old friends. What do we mean by old friend? We mean that when we talk about SEO, most of us know that we want to rank on the first page, on the first result for our target query. In this case, our target query is GPT-3, which is the case of OpenAI API results. Now let's see another requirement from an SEO perspective. We want to have a knowledge panel. The knowledge panel is not for every entity, but every SEO would love to have a knowledge panel, would love to earn a knowledge panel on Google for the business, for the website, for the people of the company, for the product. GPT-3 is a product, so in this case, it's a knowledge panel for a product, an OpenAI product. Another sample of requirement, which is ranking a video. We have also some video content, and we want them to rank on the first page for the queries that trigger the videos section. Another sample of requirement, also, we would like to have some questions, some pairs of question answers from our website that appear on the first page of Google. So this is another search requirement from an SEO perspective. Now, if you want to say this, to talk about this between SEOs, so most SEO are aware of this requirement. But the question is, how does this relate to the world of conversational AI? First of all, we can ask this question. Many people can ask this question. So if you are a business owner and you are already investing effort and money in SEO, so the question is, how can we make the most of SEO effort? And from another perspective, if you are an SEO, the question would be how to add more values and reposition your services for the company or for the websites that you're working for. So answering those two questions would mean to revisit the conversation that we saw between the user and Google. In this conversation, we had multiple steps. We saw them. The idea is the main point here is to see that those conversations are already taking place on Google. So it's between the user and Google. It's on the first page of Google. But what we want to what we want to change is we want the organization, we want the website, we want the SEO the teams to take their part in this flow starting from today. This means that instead of having a conversation between the user and Google, we would need to have a conversation with a bot from our website. This means that we need to replace Google. Sure, we don't want to eliminate Google because Google will help us convert the would help us convert the user to our website. But once the user is on our website, we don't want the user to go back to Google to ask other questions to Google. If we have those information on our website, it would be much better for the website to provide those information directly to the user. And in this case, this means that we need a conversational channel live on our website. This would increase the user interaction. This would provide a better user experience for the user. And also, this means that we will increase user retention on the website, on our website, which is also one SEO signal for Google. Now, if you want to look at this flow, as you may have noticed, besides the first interaction with Google, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5, the conversation will take now place between the user and the bot that is live on our website. This is where we want to go. This is where toward what we want to have on our website. Now, the path might be different. So instead of having the first question, what is GPT-3, the user might convert to our website from the pairs of question answers, from the people also ask questions, or from another path. So the path might be different. It's not always the same. It's not possible to be always the same. So we might, so it's important to know that the path is different. So the action plan. So the action plan. The most important thing for us is we want to optimize for user retention, which is number 4. Optimizing for user retention means that we want to help the user find the information easily on our website. So everything like a good UI navigation, a good search functionality, a good chatbot, everything plays a good and important role in this case. Again, some concrete steps would be, for example, from an SEO perspective, is to build your knowledge graph, is to earn a knowledge panel on Google. It's to also use the video objects, because we talked about videos. It's to use the FAQ schema, which is what we saw as pairs of question answers. So those are the concrete steps, some of the concrete steps that an SEO can take in order to improve the SEO ranking of the website. So just to give some overview of about entities and relationship, because when we want to build a knowledge graph, this means that we have to create those entities, and we want to create a relationship between them. So, for example, in this example, we have an entity called artificial intelligence. So it can be a tag, it can be a category, it can be just a tag, part of the text on a blog. So once we want to create artificial intelligence as an entity, uh, we create this snippet of code and we attach this snippet of code, which we call structured data. This is a JSON LD format, and add it to our website. This is how we build a knowledge graph which is composed of entities and relationships. WordLift helps you building your knowledge graph, and this is the core functionality of the WordLift WordPress plugin. Now we can validate this on schema validator just to verify that everything is okay. Now another structured data is a FAQ schema markup. So it's not entities and relationships. It's a different schema. It's a very particular schema where we can put the question. For example, here the question is, what is an SEO management service? And we also have the text over here in the text tag. So this is another type of structured data, also JSON LD format that can be attached to a blog, and this will help Google understand that this web page is answering this question, and the answer is this text over here. So back again to our concrete steps. So building the knowledge graph means we need to leverage the entities and relations that we saw, like in the case of artificial intelligence as an entity. We need to earn a knowledge panel. So earning a knowledge panel means we need a knowledge graph. We need to take good care of the EAT, the topical authority, the user needs, etc. Using the video object and using the FAQ schema, this means that we need to add those schema markups to our web pages and blogs. This will give us this powerful combination when we have a website and augment it with a knowledge graph. We can obtain a knowledge graph QA system. Now, what we want to have, we want to have a similar functionality that we saw on Google search. This means that WordLift needs to highlight those different sections, like the knowledge panels, or like the FAQ schema, when the user search on the web. And this is why WordLift is replicating what Google is doing, but on a scale of a single website. We do leverage the same data published on the website to do the same things that Google is doing on the search page. And using the same data that the website is already publishing to rank higher from an SEO perspective, this is the same data that we use in order to create a chatbot or a conversational AI channel. So there is no additional effort for the users in order to do this. This is a real use case that we have on WordLift. If we go and search for this query, what can GPT-3 achieve for e-commerce? We will get this first result from Google, where Google summarizes the 3 points that answer this question. If we go on Google and search for GPT-3 product description, Google will output the paragraph in our WordLift article where we talk about GPT-3 and the generation of product descriptions. Another perspective is if we search for e-commerce product description using GPT-3, we also get those FAQ schemas that we show previously, where we have the question and the answer. Now, the question becomes how to start taking ownership of the user journey with WorldLift. So in order to create our conversational AI service, we use Gina AI, which is a neural search company that provides different libraries. So we implemented, we used Gina AI to build our AI powered chatbot, which is live on docs.wordlift.io. You can interact with the chatbot. And to replicate the Google experience, this is what we have. When we ask the same question, we get the same answer on the website. So instead of having Google returning to Google to ask another GPT-3 related question, the user can directly interact with our chatbot and get all those information that you are seeing here in these different examples. Now, the question, so what we saw is, what we already saw is something that is implemented and it's live and it's in production now. We did also some research work which goes beyond FAQs, beyond those pair of question answers. And in order to, in this research, we used the knowledge graph. And in the knowledge graph, as you know, we have those different entities that are highlighted in colors. Those are part of the knowledge graph. The question is, what is the address of the hotel where Mozart week takes place? We need to answer this question from the knowledge graph. In order to find the right question, the idea is to leverage different technologies in order to provide the user directly with the answer from the knowledge graph. So we have the knowledge graph. We use the Sparkle, which is an RDF query language, and we use machine learning in order to in our approach to solve this. Now, if you are interested more in this, we have a research paper that was published, that is published two months back, two months ago, that talks in details about this. The idea is in this research is how to find the answer to this question in the knowledge graph. The answer to this question is we need to write a Sparkle query. So a person would write a Sparkle query. But what if we want to create a bot? If we want to create a bot, a person cannot write the Sparkle query for every question of the user. So the idea is we need to automate this procedure so that a bot writes a Sparkle query for any user questions. Automating or transforming the user question to Sparkle query automatically is what we showed possible in our research. So three very high-level steps. We need to build a training data of question and answer query. We train a machine learning model, and then for every question, the model will predict the Sparkle query that corresponds to the user query. This is a research work. You can check it on the link that I provided. Now, just before we finish, let's check let's check those two takeaways from our presentation today. So the first takeaway is that rethinking the research. This search can be imagined as a two-way conversation between the user and the machine. We have two visions of conversational AI: the know-it-all versus the relevant and accurate information. In our case, we are providing accurate information from our website by leveraging everything with the same data that we are using to Google. So there's no additional effort from the user perspective. With training, we are using our conversational AI with the same information that we are sending to Google to rank higher from an SEO perspective. As ongoing trends, we see that the orchestration of multi-bots or stack of bots and having a master bot and the full back bot are two important are an important step. In addition to the personalization, we are living in an era of hyper personalization. Every user needs the answer with the right tone of voice and the right words that correspond to his persona. And the last point in this presentation, which is also a topic that we addressed at WorldLift, which is multimodality, where we have a query that is made at the same time of a text and an image, or a text and a video, or a text and an audio, everything in a single query. Those are the ongoing trends that we see important in the future. Thank you for having me again, and let's keep the conversation going. If you have any question, I guess we have now a few minutes to answer this question. Otherwise, you can connect with me and with WordLift on wordlift.io. Thank you.